Welcome to the Real Double Dose channel, Flip the Switch series. Rooted in God, powered by RDDC, FDS, HVH, and S&M Elevation. This is where testimonies, travel, and transformation collide. Let's flip the switch and rise together.
Oh, David, I was just thinking, this whole idea of ghosts, right? It's just so fascinating, isn't it? Like for centuries, people, all cultures really, they've got these stories, these whispers, about spirits lingering.
Yeah, it's truly wild, Amara. I mean, from a scientific standpoint, my brain, wants to find a logical explanation for everything. But then you hear these tales, these personal accounts, and you just kind of, well, you wonder, what is it that draws us to the unknown like this, specifically with like apparitions?
Exactly. It's that primal fear, isn't it? That deep seated intrigue. Like the idea that maybe, just maybe, there's more to life, to death, than what we can just, scientifically prove or measure. It taps into our biggest questions about existence, I think. And whether it's a residual energy or a conscious entity, the idea of a ghost, it captures the imagination.
It does. And I think it's also that human desire to connect with, well, with what's lost. Like the thought of a loved one lingering. It's kind of comforting, even if it's terrifying at the same time. But then there are the ones that are just purely unsettling, right? Like the malevolent spirits people talk about.
Oh, absolutely. The ones that they don't seem to have a kind agenda. Those are the ones that really they get under your skin, don't they? And it makes you wonder about the circumstances of their passing, their unfinished business, if you will. The stories are, well, they're endless, aren't they? So, when we talk about ghost encounters, my mind immediately jumps to those truly iconic places, right? Like the Tower of London, for instance. That place is just steeped in centuries of intense history and bloody executions. I mean, you can almost feel the residual energy there, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. The Tower, it's a classic. I've always been fascinated by the stories of Anne Boleyn, right? Like her headless ghost supposedly wandering the chapel. It's such a chilling image. But then it makes you think, is it the actual spirit, or is it just the sheer weight of expectation? People wanting to see something.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? But then you hear accounts from, like, the tower guards, who are very much not looking for ghosts. They're just doing their job. And they've had some pretty compelling experiences, like cold spots, disembodied voices, even seeing figures. Or what about the Winchester Mystery House, David? That's another level of architectural, shall we say, eccentricity, designed specifically to confuse spirits.
The Winchester House is just, it's mind-boggling, Amara. All those staircases leading to ceilings, doors opening to walls. Mrs. Winchester building it non-stop for decades, supposedly to appease the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles. It's such a bizarre dedication. Do you think that kind of like constant building, the energy of it, could actually create an environment for spirits to linger?
I absolutely do. The sheer force of will, the belief, the continuous activity. It's like a perpetual motion machine for the paranormal, isn't it? And the house itself, it's such a labyrinth. It's just begging for things to get lost within its walls. I mean, it's a masterclass in architectural haunting, really.
It's all incredibly compelling, Amara. But then, my scientific side kicks in. When people describe cold spots or sudden chills, a lot of it could just be natural air currents or even our own psychological responses to a creepy environment, right? Our brains are pretty good at filling in the blanks.
Oh, absolutely, David. I mean, I'm not saying every bump in the night is a ghost, not at all. There are so many perfectly logical explanations for things people perceive as paranormal, like infrasound, for example, right? Those really low frequency sounds that we can't consciously hear, but they can induce feelings of dread or unease. It's fascinating how our bodies react.
Yeah, infrasound is a big one. And electromagnetic fields too. Some researchers believe fluctuations in EMF can cause people to feel like they're being watched or even hallucinate. A faulty wiring in an old house and suddenly you're experiencing ghosts.
Totally. Or pareidolia, right? When our brains try to find patterns in random stimuli, like seeing faces in shadows or in curtains. And then there's confirmation bias, where if you expect to see a ghost, you're more likely to interpret ambiguous stimuli as evidence of one. It's all very, very psychological, you know?
It's a really strong argument, all these psychological and environmental factors. And it makes me wonder, are we as humans just wired to seek out these mysteries, to look for meaning in the unexplained, even if the explanation is just our own perception?
I think we are, David. It's that desire to believe in something, isn't it? Even if it's just our own minds playing tricks on us, the experience of it is very real to the person having it. And that's something you can't really just, dismiss outright, can you? But then, David, you hear stories from people who are just not looking for it, and it just happens. Like a friend of mine, she moved into this old Victorian house, right? And she kept hearing her name being whispered really, really softly when she was home alone. And at first, she thought it was like the TV or just the house settling.
Oh, wow. And what happened then? Did it escalate? Because usually these kinds of phenomena, they tend to build up, don't they?
Totally. So she started seeing shadows just in her peripheral vision, like darting across the hallway. And then one night she was in bed and her blanket, it just slowly, steadily started being pulled down to the foot of the bed. She pulled it back up, right? And then it happened again. Not forcefully, just gently, but insistently. She was terrified, David. Absolutely terrified.
That's genuinely unsettling. Like the physical interaction aspect of it. You can't really just chalk that up to infrasound or pareidolia, can you? It suggests something with intent. Did she ever figure out what it was?
Well, she did a bit of digging, and it turns out the previous owner, an elderly woman, had passed away in that very house. And she was known for being quite particular about how things were kept. My friend, she just felt this presence that was like tidying up or trying to, keep things in order. Eventually, she learned to live with it, almost like having a very particular spectral roommate.
That's a wild story, Amara. Really. It almost sounds like a residual haunting mixed with something more intelligent. Like it's not just a replay of energy, it's reacting.
You've hit the nail on the head, David. That's exactly it. So, we've got a few main types, right? There's the residual haunting, which is what you just mentioned. That's like a psychic imprint, a replay of past events, usually traumatic ones, like a scene on a loop. It's not really interactive. It's just energy left behind, like a memory etched into a place.
So the headless Anne Boleyn, she'd be a residual haunting then, just repeating her last moments or wandering aimlessly without conscious thought?
Exactly. She's not going to turn to you and ask for directions. Then you have what we call intelligent hauntings. These are the ones where the spirit or entity actually interacts with the living. They respond to questions, they might move objects with intent, or even communicate through various means. Your friend's story with the blanket and the whispering, that sounds more like an intelligent haunting, perhaps a lingering spirit of the previous owner.
Okay, so residual is like a video playback, and intelligent is like a conversation or at least an interaction. What about poltergeists? Where do they fit in? I always thought those were the really chaotic ones.
Ah, poltergeists. That's a whole other kettle of fish, isn't it? Noisy ghost in German. These are often characterized by physical disturbances, things moving, objects being thrown, loud bangs. But the interesting thing is, they're often associated with a living person, typically an adolescent, rather than a disembodied spirit. It's almost like a psychokinetic energy, an unconscious release of stress or emotional turmoil. It's all so complex, isn't it? And the way people investigate these things now, it's changed so much. We've gone from like just sitting in the dark with a séance to using all this incredible tech. Like, have you seen the EMF meters they use and spirit boxes?
Oh, yeah. I've seen some of those shows, and it's pretty wild. Like the spirit boxes, that's where they scan through radio frequencies really fast, and supposedly spirits can manipulate the white noise to form words. I mean, from a scientific perspective, it's super hard to control the variables there and rule out like random radio snippets.
Totally. It's definitely not a perfect science. But the intent is there to try and capture something, anything. And then you have the thermal cameras, which are really, really interesting for detecting sudden drops in temperature or heat signatures that shouldn't be there. And then the EVPs, the electronic voice phenomena, where you record silence and then later, you play it back and hear voices that weren't audible at the time.
EVPs always get me, Amara, because you think you're alone, but then you listen back and there's a whisper. It's genuinely unnerving. But again, it's so hard to distinguish from like background noise or auditory pareidolia.
It is. It absolutely is. But that's the beauty and the frustration of the unknown, isn't it? It challenges us to look beyond the obvious, to question what we think we know. And whether it's a scientific explanation or something truly supernatural, the stories, these encounters, they remind us that there's always more to explore. It keeps us wondering, doesn't it?
It does, Amara. It totally does. And that's why these whispers from beyond, they'll always, always keep us listening.
This has been the RDDC Flip the Switch series, created by Lexus T. Duran. Center your life on God, power it through RDDC, FDS, HVH, and S&M elevation. Claim your Travel with Blessings voucher at www.realdoubledosechannel.com and join the Lex Effect Mastermind at lexeffectcoaching.com. Stay bold, stay blessed, keep flipping the switch.